They say that centuries ago, a young samurai was condemned to die at dawn for a crime he did not commit. He spent the entire night in his cell, curled up and trembling. Every time he heard a guard's footsteps, his heart pounded against his ribs like a caged animal. He broke into a cold sweat, imagining the edge of the steel against his neck. His mind was a chaos of memories, fears, and impossible escape plans. He was so desperate to save his life that his life had already become a living hell. But at midnight, something inside him broke. His exhaustion reached such a point that his ego simply surrendered. He said to himself, "I am no longer a man. I am a corpse waiting for the dawn." In that instant, he stopped fighting, he stopped waiting, he stopped fearing. He sat in silence and for the first time truly heard the sound of the rain and felt the cool night air with an intensity he had never known. When the executioner entered at sunrise, he did not find a terrified victim. He found a man who had already died hours before and who, therefore, was completely free. Perhaps listening to this story, you feel there is something of that samurai in your own life. Not because your physical integrity is in danger, but because we often inhabit an invisible cell that we ourselves have built. A cell made of expectations, the need to please others, and the constant fear of failure. We spend our lives protecting an image of ourselves that exhausts us. We carry the weight of who we believe we should be, running from fears that prevent us from being truly present in the now. We cling so tightly to our certainties, our titles, and our possessions that we forget how it feels to walk with lightness. Thousands of years ago, the sages of the Tao discovered that true freedom is not found by accumulating layers of identity, but by learning to let them go. It is not about a tragic end, but a necessary liberation. It is the art of letting go of what is false, so that what is authentic within us can finally breathe. In the next few minutes, we're going to explore what happens when we stop protecting ourselves so much. When, like the warrior in the story, we give ourselves permission to drop our masks and discover that by having no image to defend, we finally become invincible. Who are you? Think about it for a second. Don't give me your name, your profession, or your nationality. Those are labels the system put on you. If I take away your money, are you still you? If I take away your beauty, are you still you? If I take away your past, what remains? Most people panic at these questions because they have built their identity on quicksand. They have created a character and spend 90% of their energy trying to keep that character from crumbling. That is living in constant tension. It is being a slave to an idea of ourselves. Taoism tells us that the ego is like a parasite. It feeds on our fears and our desires for importance. It makes you believe you are someone special, someone separate from the rest of the universe. And that separation is the source of much of our suffering. We feel we have to defend a territory called I against everything else. To die before you die means letting go of that parasite. It is understanding that the character you care for so much is largely a social construct, a story you tell yourself that prevents you from seeing reality as it truly is. As long as we remain obsessed with being someone, we will hardly be free. We live in the era of constant performance. We act at work to seem efficient. We act on social media to show that we are happy. You act in your relationships to be the perfect partner or friend. Sometimes we are so tired of acting that we don't even remember what lies behind the mask. This performance is heavy. It is the dead weight that prevents us from flowing with life. The Taoist sage practices the art of simplicity.
not because they hide from the world, but because they have no rigid image to project. They don't need your validation to feel complete. They don't need your applause to know their value. By having no mask to protect, they have nothing that can be broken by the judgment of others. What would happen if today you decided you didn't need to be important? At first, you might feel a strange emptiness, but right behind that void is the deepest peace you can imagine. When you stop trying to be the center of your own universe, the entire universe begins to flow through you.
Most of us live with clenched fists, trying to hold on to life, money, and people. But life is like water. The tighter you squeeze your fist, the faster it escapes through your fingers. To die before you die is to learn to open your hands. It is the absolute detachment from results. Lao Tse said that the sage possesses nothing and therefore lacks nothing. It doesn't mean you don't have things. It means the things don't have you. It means you can enjoy a banquet today and a piece of dry bread tomorrow with the same serenity, because you know the banquet doesn't make you bigger, nor does the bread make you smaller. That is the true strength of what bends. The rigidity of wanting things to always be the way you want them is the rigidity that makes us suffer. The flexibility of accepting that everything flows, everything changes, and nothing truly belongs to us is the flexibility of life. When you let go of your expectations, you stop being a victim of fate and become the river. We have been taught to fear the void. We've been taught that we have to fill our lives with experiences, objects, and knowledge. But in Taoism, the utility of the vessel resides in its emptiness. If your mind is full of yourself, your prejudices, and your plans, there is no room for the new to happen. You are like a full cup that can no longer receive anything else. Practicing a daily little death means emptying the cup at the end of the day. It is going to bed letting go of everything that happened, the triumphs and the failures, the insults and the praises. Do not carry the weight of today into tomorrow. Allow the I of today to rest so that tomorrow you can be born again, fresh, without the baggage of the past. Emptiness is not lack, it is freedom. It is the space where everything is possible because nothing is mandatory.
Here is the final paradox. The one who has learned to let go of personal importance no longer fears the end. If you have already let go of your ego, if you have already accepted that you are part of a flow much larger than your thoughts and your body, the idea of loss loses its power over you. You have found peace before the world tries to take it from you.
Uncertainty is only terrifying for the one who has much to protect. But the one who surrenders to the flow of life, the one who understands they are a momentary expression of the Tao, lives with an intensity and a calm that others cannot comprehend. When you stop fearing constant change, you begin to enjoy the journey. You are no longer going through life trying to get anywhere because you understand that you are already home. You have reached a form of serenity that does not depend on time because you have stopped living trapped in your own stories. You are at the end of this video, but you could be at the start of a new way of seeing your existence. You have a decision to make. You can close the screen and go back to the same old tension. You can go back to worrying excessively about what people think of you, stressing over controlling the uncontrollable, and protecting that fragile image that exhausts you so much. Or you can choose to let go of that burden right now. Let go of the story of who you think you must be. Let go of the weight of your past mistakes and the anxiety about your future. Take a deep breath and feel the relief of not having to be someone special for a moment. It is not a painful process. It is like taking off shoes that have been too small for years. Tell me in the comments, what part of that burden are you going to let go of today? What expectation are you going to release to feel a little freer? I read your comments with respect and attention. Thank you for joining me in this reflection. Subscribe if you seek a space to calm the noise and reconnect with what is essential. And now, go out there. The world becomes much wider when you stop trying to be the master of your own destiny. Let go, flow, and discover that for the first time, you are truly present. Until next time.